So YouTubers, Fortune45 LC coming to an hot lead zone, and thought I'd show you the finishing touches on the second reloading bench. So let's go over the bench first. You see we have 4 filing cabinets that help support the bench top along with the 2x4 frame. But look at this, we got 2 more filing cabinets from the same place at no cost. So I went ahead and put one of those on the end of the bench, another one on the top of the end of the bench, and so we have even more storage. But no bench is complete without electrical. So you notice underneath that shelf we have a 5-foot long power strip. Purchased at Home Depot, it costs as much as all the wood for the bench itself, but it's worth it, giving me electrical power all the way across the bench. But then we also installed a power box on the end, 6 outlets for more convenient plugging in of electrical appliances. Then YouTubers, for shadow-free lighting, we have 2 of these extendable lamps that are bracket bolted to the shelf and can be adjusted to any position, and from 2 angles you have no shadow illumination for any part of the bench. Very handy to have. Give you a different angle at those 2 lamps. They don't get in the way and they don't shine into the eyes, but they really light up where we're working. Now there's seating, so I can actually work reloading in a seated position very nicely. Now let's look at the final touch, which is the Lee bench plate. Now installing the bench plate, by the way, the bench plate is a very robust piece of plate steel. Mounting the bench plate to your bench is very simple to do. You just have 4 bolts that you can put in, and those are not supplied by Lee, but you could put as many as 6 in there if you wanted to really get it firm. But 4 is fine. And the directions on how to install the bench plate are very simple. Doesn't take too long to install it. Now I know a lot of you YouTubers out there have been intrigued by the Lee bench plate, but you're thinking, well, it's not as sturdy, or maybe it wiggles a little bit, or there's some play in there. Well, let me show you that there is absolutely no play in this bench plate. Do you see that? No play at all. And is it true about the instant press change? Well, let's look at this. You just simply loosen up 4 little screws. And your press comes right off. Now this press can be stored anywhere in one of the drawers. And if you have another press mounted on these plates that Lee supplies, and they work real well, take another press, pop it in, so if you tighten 4 of these little bolt screws down, it will secure the mounting plate to the bench plate. And when you have that these screws secured, the press will not budge. Now what you don't see is there's a little flange right here that hooks over the back of these little securing brackets, so that once the brackets are tightened down, that little flange prevents any chance of this thing sliding out. Very ingenious. Now I know what you're thinking. Aha, Fortune Cookie, what you've done is you put the press in front of the drawer, so when you open the drawer, the press will be in the way of the drawer opening. Well, you can't tell, but I made sure that clears. So it'll be handy to get into this drawer as necessary. And here's a quick shout out to some enthusiastic YouTube posters that you might want to visit their sites and check them out, because there's some interesting things there. There's STL Ammo Man, and he's starting into bullet casting and interesting stuff on his site. And then there's Country Boy Prepper, who's starting his lead gathering reserve and kind of following into Volley Bagwell's footsteps. And Volley Bagwell's tough to follow because he's got 1,000 pounds of lead in his reserve. That's very impressive. But Country Boy Prepper, you'll be following behind very quickly. There's Meg Zamani, who did some real nice problem solving on his site with a speedy loader that didn't fit his tubular magazine very well, and he solved it very nicely. Might give him a try and check out his site. So I'll leave some links to these three, and check them out if you got time. Well, YouTubers, there's my second reloading bench, and it could serve as a primary if it had to. And it's all ready to go, and haven't reloaded any rounds yet on it, but it won't be long now. See you next video.